I am Dr. P.C. Patel, retired research scientist, Anand Agriculture University, Anand, Gujarat, India, along with Naresh Patel, PG student. So today, the research problem on influence of biochar application on growth, dry matter yield, and nutrition of cod, Jimbase L, grown on sandy loam soil of Gujarat, India. Biochar is a soil amendment. Lehman and his co-worker 2003 found that application of biochar to soil led to a reduction of nitrogen leaching by 60%, an increase of crop productivity by 30 to 45%, which we assume to translate into 20% saving in fertilizer and 10% saving in irrigation and seeds. Biochar provides a unique opportunity to improve soil fertility and nutrient use efficiency using locally available and renewable material in a sustainable way. Biochar for environmental management. First, improve agronomic efficiency. Second, the use of biochar may displace fertilizer use in two ways: by substituting directly for other source of fertilizer, as for example, where biochar is produced from nutrient-rich feedstock. B, by increasing the efficiency with which fertilizer is used, because biochar increases the soil nutrient retention capacity. So whatever we are applied nutrient in soil through chemical fertilizer, they are not leach, but biochar retention of the nutrient, and there will be less chances of the leaching of the nutrient. Synergistic objective of biochar application for environmental management. Soil improvement for improved productivity as well as reduce pollution. Waste management, climate change mitigation, energy production, which individually or in combination must have either a social or a financial benefit or both. How is biochar made? Biochar is made by heating biomass under oxygen limited condition. The process is called slow pyrolysis. Fast pyrolysis is also there, but we have used slow pyrolysis method. Biomass feedstock can induce forestry and agriculture waste product, municipal green waste, biosolids, animal manures, some industrial waste such as paper mill waste, etc. The thermochemical conversion drives off the volatile component of the biomass and stabilize the remaining carbon into a black, highly aromatic solid. So we have used this method, simple method of biochar preparation from corn stover, that is main stover, and cluster bean stover using two kilns. So here we have taken two barrels or two kilns, and in one big kiln we are adding the biochar material, means agriculture waste material, either corn stover or cluster bean stover, and we have to take big kiln. So the corn stover or cluster bean stover has been filled up in a small barrel and then upside down, and it inserted into big kiln. Between the two space, we have to put up the wood to increase the temperature. So settling of organic ratios is thermal decomposition. So here you can see that it is a thermal decomposition. So afterward, there will be a lead with the pipe, so there will be exhaustion or liberation of the gases, methane, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and it is my figure. So here you can see that it is a prepared product of corn biochar. We have taken corn store biochar after the harvesting of the maize crops. We have utilized, and that fellow, a labor, they are helping me. So corn store biochar. So it is figured here. You can see that it is the smallest particle, and there is a require of the electron microscope. Size is less than 0.002 mm. So it is very small particles, just like clay particle. So it has more surface area. So it absorbs more water and nutrient from the soil. Why need study? Keeping in view the importance of biochar, farmyard manure, and integrated nutrient management, the present study was therefore conducted to compare the recommended levels of chemical fertilizer along with the biochar and farmyard manure and investigate best possible combination of organic and inorganic fertilizer on growth, dry matter, yield, and nutrition of corn. So we have conducted experiment in the field on corn crop. Sustainable biochar is produced from waste biomass using modern thermochemical technologies. Therefore, the use of sustainable biochar as a soil amendment is an innovative and highly promising practice for sustainable agriculture. A field experiment was conducted to find out the efficacy of different biochar and effect on soil fertility. This study conducted with 3 biochar. We have taken corn store biochar, cluster bean biochar, and other we have purchased from the market, that is a Prosopis julifera wood biochar as a soil amendment, and we have tested in poor sandy loam soil of agricultural dissertation Sansoli of Gujarat state of India. So it is experiment region. There are totally 16 treatments. So fertilizer level 2 control, absolute control, and recommended dose of fertilizer of the maize 80-40 kg NPK per hectare. Then there will be 8 levels of biochar, 5 tons of biochar of cluster bean store biochar, 5 ton biochar of corn store, 5 ton biochar of wood Prosopis biochar. Similarly, we have taken the 10 ton biochar of each cluster bean, corn store, and wood biochar. Then treatment number 7, we have taken the 5 ton farmyard manure, and treatment number 8, 10 ton farmyard manure. So total combination is 16. So 18 biochar along with the farmyard manure with control and along with the recommended dose of fertilizer of the maize crops. So there are 16 treatments. So effect of biochar on plant corn crop in presence and absence of recommended dose of corn. And we have harvested maize crop at 60 days after sowing. So here you can see that recommended dose of fertilizer and corn store means maize store biochar at the rate of 10 ton. So it shows the height 150.78 centimeter. Whereas when we are not apply the recommended dose of fertilizer, but apply alone maize store biochar at the rate of 10 ton, then the height is be lesser, 47.44. So here there will be increase 3 to 4 times more plant height when we are apply the recommended dose of fertilizer along with the biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare. Similarly, true for the cluster bean biochar applied at 10 ton per hectare along with the recommended dose of fertilizer. You can see here 145.78 centimeter, but without recommended dose of fertilizer alone, cluster bean biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare, we got 45.67 centimeter plant height at 60 days after sowing of the maize crop or corn crop. Then figure 2, effect of biochar on dry matter yield quintal per hectare in presence and absence of recommended dose of fertilizer on corn. So here you can see that first 8 treatments are without recommended dose of fertilizer, and other 8 treatments we have applied the recommended dose of fertilizer. So you can see clearly the diameter of the corn is 3 to 4 times greater as compared to alone biochar without chemical fertilizer. So application of 3 types of biochar or farmyard manure with recommended dose of fertilizer significantly increased diameter yield by 3 to 4 times as compared to similar type of 3 biochar or F5 without recommended dose of fertilizer. So corn diameter yield, soil application of recommended dose of fertilizer along with corn store biochar at the rate of 10 metric ton per hectare recorded the highest diameter yield 94.40 quintal per hectare. The second effectiveness of biochar was cluster bin we have seen in the figure. Store biochar and recommended dose of fertilizer plus cluster bin biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare produced significantly higher diameter yield, 84.88 quintal per hectare than other, but it was followed with recommended dose of fertilizer plus cluster bin biochar at the rate of 5 ton per hectare. So application of recommended dose of fertilizer plus corn store biochar or maize store biochar at the rate of 10 per hectare increased corn diameter yield from 38% to 345%. This implies that the addition of fertilizer along with biochar may improve soil quality and release nutrient to plants. It might also be due to increase in diameter yield in biochar amendment in presence of recommended dose of fertilizer, an effect of biochar on soil physical chemical properties like enhancement water holding capacity due to biochar, increased cation exchange capacity, and providing better medium for absorption of plant nutrient and improved condition for soil microorganism. It was reported also by Sohi and co-worker in 2009. Then figure 3, effect of biochar on crude protein yield of corn. So here you can see that there are 8 treatments on left side. We are getting only 158 kg per hectare to 285 kg per hectare crude protein yield. Whereas when we are apply the recommended dose of fertilizer, but similar dose of the biochar, the crude protein yield increase 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times, round about here you see 2.5 to 3.7 times. So crude protein yield significantly increase with when we are apply the recommended dose of fertilizer along with the maize store biochar, cluster bin store biochar or processed julifera biochar plus farmyard manure. Here you can see that alone farmyard manure also not produce the higher crude protein yield. But when we are apply the recommended dose of fertilizer along with the farmyard manure, then we are obtain the higher crude protein yield. Means alone organic manure also not give higher crude protein yield as well as diameter yield. Therefore, integrated nutrient management is better for obtaining the higher crop production. Soil application of cluster, corn store, cluster bin biochar and procedural julifera wood biochar and farmyard manure at the rate of 5 or 10 metric ton per hectare along with recommended dose of fertilizer increase 2.5 to 3.7 times higher crude protein yield of corn that similar rate of biochar without recommended dose of fertilizer. Here we can see that here 2.5 to 3.7 times greater than the alone biochar. Rate of increase in crude protein yield was more in recommended dose of fertilizer plus maize store biochar or corn store biochar at the rate of 5 ton per hectare, and recommended dose of fertilizer plus cluster with biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare. So here you can see that recommended dose of fertilizer plus maize store biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare, so higher plant height as compared to RDF plus maize store biochar 5 ton per hectare. So when we are applying the higher rate of the corn store biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare, then we are getting the higher plant height as compared to when we are apply the maize store biochar at the rate of 5 ton per hectare. So RDF plus MS10 corn plant have 165 centimeter plant height and produce diameter of 94.4 quintal per hectare, whereas RDF MS5 corn plant have 140 centimeter plant height. Here 140 centimeter plant height. Here we got 165 centimeter plant height and recorded diameter yield of 92.89. So it is interesting that both the treatments are at par for producing the higher diameter yield. Here you can see that 94.4 quintal when we are applied 10 ton per hectare, but when we are applied the cluster bin biochar, same biochar, maize store biochar, then we are getting a 92.89 quintal per hectare diameter yield. Then here you can see that recommended dose of fertilizer plus cluster bin biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare. Here absolute control, and here cluster bin biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare. So here you can see the response. You compare both this treatment. So the plant height is about 4 times greater than the alone biochar. Here we have applied the recommended dose of fertilizer. So recommended dose of fertilizer plus cluster bin biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare plant have 160 centimeter plant height and produce diameter 84.88 quintal per hectare, whereas AC, that treatment, absolute control plus cluster bin biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare, corn plant have only 45 centimeter. Here 45 centimeter plant height, here 160. So you can see 4 times greater plant height when we are apply the cluster bin biochar at the rate of 10 ton per hectare along with the recommended dose of fertilizer. And here the diameter production is only 24.83 quintal, whereas here diameter is 84.88 quintal per ton. So 4 times greater here. Application of corn store biochar. Here you can see here at the right side at the rate of 10 metric ton per hectare plus recommended dose of fertilizer, so taller plant height and gave 4 times higher diameter yield, here 94.4 quintal per hectare. Then alone soil application of clusters, corn store biochar at the rate of 5 metric ton per hectare. Here we are getting only 23.79 quintal per hectare diameter, whereas here we obtain 4 times greater, 94.4 quintal. So here, here the cluster bin biochar, not corn, but here the cluster bin biochar. Conclusion. From the finding of the experiment, it is evident that integrated nutrient management is much better as compared to sole organic fertilizer. It is suggesting that application of corn store biochar at the rate of 10 metric ton per hectare in combination with recommended dose of fertilizer 80-40 0 kg NPK per hectare improved diameter and cool protein yield of corn crop, followed by corn store biochar application at the rate of 5 metric ton per hectare. In combination with the recommended dose of fertilizer, it is also beneficial for built-up nutrient in soil. Once our biochar at the rate of 5 or 10 metric ton per hectare along with recommended fertilizer would be able to hold more plant nutrients, major nutrients, secondary nutrient, and micronutrient, and increase its availability to plant. Application of biochar alone failed to increase on plant growth, dry matter, and food protein yield in sandy loam soil of Gujarat, India. So it might be due to biochar have no sufficient plant nutrient to increase plant growth, but it work as a catalyst. So it is interesting that biochar is work as a catalyst. It enhances the process of the physical, chemical, and biological process, and it retention of the plant nutrients, and that nutrient has been taken by the plant when we are applied to the chemical fertilizer or either native nutrient, that will be less leaching loss. These studies show that two biochar produced from agriculture byproduct waste could simultaneously absorb ammonium and phosphates, suggesting that the addition of biochar to the soil can retain nutrient in soil, prevent their runoff or leaching, and thereby retain them so they are available to plant. And by using the biochar, we can also help in mitigation of climate change, because we know that we are applying plenty of chemical fertilizers in soil, and suppose the nutrients has been leached out, so there will be a water pollution due to leaching of the nitrate in water. A synergistic effect was observed when the use of biochar was combined with fertilizer. It indicates that using biochar as a soil amendment can increase high crop yield. So it is interesting that there will be synergistic effect with the biochar and fertilizer here. Many other research workers have also reported that biochar have synergistic effect with manure, compost, and fertilizer. So we have observed synergistic effect with the fertilizers. Thank you very much. If you have liked my video, then please click, and thank you very much.